Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome back to the workshop. Now, I recently built this workbench top for my WorkMATE so that it would cover the router table that's fitted inside my WorkMATE. And to do that, I was no longer able to use the wood vise that was connected to the rear jaws of the WorkMATE. So in this video, I'm going to be correcting that by fitting the wood vise to this new worktop. Let's get tinkering. Now, I've temporarily clamped this wood vise to the side of the workbench top just to make sure that it would actually fit. So I'm now going to inspect underneath and see how much space I've actually got. It's pretty snug, but you can see it isn't actually getting in the way of any of the parts of the router table. Now, there's a couple of things to note here. Firstly, these side pieces are only screwed on using these little brackets plus some screws in the corners into these legs. So that isn't going to be good enough, so I'm going to have to do something about how this is fixed to the worktop. The other thing is this is actually sitting on one of these brackets, so it can't actually go all the way down. So I need to remove that bracket as well so I can bring it down. The next thing is that this should be bolted onto something here. So I need to build up this area here so that it's got something to screw into. The first thing I'm going to do is add some wood glue to this frame, and that will help improve its strength, but it's not going to be enough on its own to hold this heavy wood vise. So my plan is to use these boards to pack this out. These will be glued and screwed together so they're a single unit, and then this will be glued to the underside of the workbench top. And then I've got these lips here, so I can then screw this as well as it being glued to the underside so that it all stays together. I don't really want to bolt it or put screws into the workbench top. I want to try and keep that just a wooden top. So I've marked up all these boards with the positions of the holes where the main screws for the vise are going to go, so that I can work out where to then put the screws that are going to clamp these pieces together. These are going to be glued and screwed, and then these then avoid the screws underneath as well. If you're still watching, why not click that thumbs up? Go on, you know you want to. So I found these little washer spacer things, and they perfectly fit in the hole, so I'm going to use those along with these screws to screw down into the block. And for good measure, I'm also using these little washers. But first I need to pilot some holes. I then glue the vise in place. I'm using the weight of the vise to clamp it down, and I'm also clamping the vise with its own jaws to the side. I'm now going to leave this a day for the glue to cure. So I've let the glue cure overnight, and I've turned the box back round and mounted it on the WorkMATE using the dogs in the dog holes. I'm going to line this side with a piece of hardwood that's about 1 inch thick. This is out of an old dining room table. It's got lots of holes in it, but for a workshop project and for something that's just going to be a fascia for a vise, it's not much of an issue really. And then I'll use this piece, which has got a big split in it, to make the front movable jaw. I'll make sure it's the same height as the worktop, and I'll make sure that it comes out right to the edge here, and then just for looks I'll have it coming out the same amount on the other side. I'll cut those on the table saw, and then all we need to do is fit them. Well, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I really can't afford to be without my woodworking vise on my WorkMATE, so to get it back is a real relief. Next week, I'm going to be looking at how I take my WorkMATE Power Buddy and add an NVR switch to it so that I can turn the router table on and off nice and easily. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and like. If you know someone that might enjoy this video, then please share it with them. If you haven't already, then please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.